Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Fit Business. I'm Matt White, here with Jimmy Mentis, back from Montana.
Oh yeah, what a trip it was.
Tell us about it. Some of us have been following your Instagram stories, and it looked pretty cool.
Well, you know me. I don't go on vacations. I mean, I travel a lot. So every time I'm doing something, or if it's a show or expo or whatever, I always make it a vacation. That's my vacation. But I took 4 days. It was supposed to be 5 days, but I got stuck in that Colorado thing because we were supposed to go through Colorado up to Montana, and I took 4 days out, man.
It's funny. You sent me that text. You were like, "Hey, I'm going to Montana on it was supposed to be Tuesday, right? But you ended up going out on Wednesday."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, okay," because you're like, "Yeah, I'm going for vacation." I'm like, "No, really. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "No, I'm really going on vacation."
Yeah. No, I did go on vacation, but mentally I was trying to okay, let me see what I can do because I had some international accounts ready to go. So I brought my laptop, brought both phones. Only opened my laptop once for 15 minutes to send some registration paperwork that I needed to send. But I got to tell you, man, I don't know how people do it. I envy them because it was tough for me, but I had a blast. I had a blast. I mean, I went ice fishing. I went dog sledding. Tammy and my other two friends that they came along with us, they took me freaking snowshoeing in Glacier Park. It was, dude, I was done. The first 10 minutes, man, my glutes were pumped. My legs were sore already. My lower back was killing me. But it was good. I had a blast. I'll definitely do it again. And when I came back, you know what? Everything was still here.
Right. Exactly. Nothing burned down. Building's still there. Business is still good.
Yeah.
I think so many people and many of you can probably relate to what Jimmy just went through. As a business owner, it's so difficult to disconnect because we have our hands in so many different aspects of our business, and we always feel like if there's a problem, even if it doesn't relate to something that we personally did, we need to fix it. We are the first and last line of defense for our own business. So we need to do whatever we can to fix an issue. And, it's almost ingrained in our heads that things need to be solved right now. Even if it's not something, if the world's not on fire, we still feel like it is.
Right.
So I still think it's important to get away and relax, but I'm the same as you. 2 days into it, after 24 hours, I'm like, I need to get the hell out of here and get back to work.
I mean, I was a mile in to Whitefish Lake. Okay. The weather's beautiful. It wasn't cold at all. Well, cold as maybe it was 32, 33 degrees, but the sun was out. There was no wind. Okay. And I was having a blast. And all of a sudden I pull out my phone and I'm like, all right, let me see what's going on, right? And an email came across. I like to be CC'd or BCC'd in almost every email that goes out. I'm sorry. Call me the control freak, but you know what? It happened one too many times that I wasn't CC'd in it and I didn't catch the mistake or something like that. So I had an email and it was about, we were launching some new products with BeFit and Myo Labs with that whole PV7 thing. And there was a mistake on the label. And I caught it, and I'm sitting right in the middle of a frozen lake, okay? In the middle of a frozen lake. And Tammy's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I got to take care of something. She's like, oh, my God, now I've seen it all, And I just took care of business and went back to my fun because it was just natural for me. I can't disconnect completely. I'm that hands-on guy,
right?
So, but again, like I said, I had fun. I really envy the entrepreneurs. Corporate guys, I get it. These guys take off, they're gone, right? But I really envy the entrepreneurs that break away. If they can teach me how to do it, I am open for any suggestions. But, it's good. Hey, not to change the subject, but when's the last time you saw one of these?
I was just going to say that. I'm like, wow. I remember having one of those as a kid. And
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's not that long ago, but yeah, I mean, I haven't seen one of those in forever.
Right. I opened the suitcase because we were packing, and it was an old suitcase because like I said, I never go on vacation. So it's either a carry-on bag or something, those little duffel bags, right? So I
Yeah.
pulled out a suitcase and this was in it. And I hadn't opened the suitcase for at least 10, 12 years. And I'm like, wow. And it actually works.
I was just going to say, is it
Yeah.
still right?
Yeah. Every single color works.
No way.
So, yeah. How are you doing? Good?
I'm good. Staying busy. Got some meetings out of the way. Got a couple things that I got to do with the family this afternoon, but it's been good. It's been good. I could probably use a day to get away just for thinking. I've just been so busy and so like engaged with the content that I'm writing for a lot of my clients that it's like every once in a while I like to take a day where I guess you can say it's a day off, but it's not really a day off because I kind of just go into hiding and I just think. I brainstorm new topics. I look at things that are trending on the internet, different topics. I write stuff down. What if I wrote about this? What if I do that? And it's just a good way. That's how a lot of my books, book ideas came because I'm just sitting there and I'm like, so many people are asking the same questions and I'm like, that would be a great book idea. So I probably need another day where I can just get away and just think and not have to actually be actively working, I guess you could call it. But things are good. Things are really good. And you know what? We've got some great feedback from people on the Fit Business show.
I was getting private messages, and even when I was in Montana, and they're like, "Hey, man, you got to keep doing this." And I'm like, I'm just being me, It's like I'm not considering myself an expert. I'm not considering myself someone who, I can coach somebody. I just been through the trials and tribulations of building businesses. I failed. I failed most of them. To be honest with you, you know the story. I failed most of them, but the ones that I got connected and I grew and I sold, were the ones that I actually were in hands-on, and I was very passionate about. So, it's just a matter of just us doing this. And again, I don't want anybody to come off and, listening to us and say, hey, who do these guys think they are, right? I consider myself somebody who, 53-year-old man that has been through everything, and I'm sure I'm going to be through a lot more, and I'm just sharing my personal experience, and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, and I think that's what people appreciate because, people know your history in the industry, and people have seen me through, my work in the industry. And I think that all of them understand where we're coming from, and they're looking for our opinion. What's Jimmy's thought on this? What's Matt's thought on that? And I think that's what they're looking for because it either validates what they're thinking, it'll bring up, a completely different thought that maybe they didn't think about when it came to a topic, or they could just be like, this dude is off his rocker. He has no idea what he's talking about. And either way, it's fun to get that feedback because, I mean, hey, look, if I'm wrong, I want people to say, hey, Matt, either A, I don't agree with you and this is why, or B, just straight out, Matt, here are the facts. This is what's going on. Yeah, and look, again, it's exactly what you said. We're not claiming to be experts in any aspect or any topic that we're talking about. We're just finding topics that a lot of people are speaking about on social media and the internet and in our community and our industry. And we're just kind of tossing our 2 cents out there to see, what people think and engage conversation.
All right. Since you mentioned the word experts, let's go into our today's topic.
Okay. So today we want to talk about life coaches.
Now, is life coach an expert?
Well, here's the definition. This topic can have me go off on a rant fairly quickly. So let's get the facts out there first. So I had to actually look up what the heck an actual life coach is by definition, because my definition might be different than your definition different than somebody else who's listening. So the dictionary says a life coach is a person who counsels and encourages clients on matters having to do with careers or personal challenges.
Okay, so that's a profession. Okay,
Correct.
that's a profession.
Mm-hmm.
So if you label yourself on a resume or in a bio or in anything like that matter, and you represent yourself as a life coach, you are basically telling me that you have the credentials as a doctor says that he's a doctor.
Yes.
So you're a liability.
Yes.
You know, I was thinking about how I was going to say this because I knew you and I hardly ever see anything eye to eye. I get that. I know. I realize this. But either we agree to disagree. But I always find something else to this, like this life coach. Okay, we are all life coaches. Okay, an 85-year-old man speaking to a 53-year-old man is he's coaching him. He's giving him wisdom. He's telling him his experience. Okay, you can say he's coaching me in life. I think the title, when someone says I'm a life coach, it's like you're putting the initial. It's like a doctor putting his initials behind his name, MD. How do you see that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. And I didn't dig that deep into it. I don't know how you officially get certified to be a life coach.
Well, here's the thing. I think a therapist, a psychologist. I think when people say life coaches, is it all around? Is it in business? Is it in financial? Is it emotionally? Is it physically? You see what I'm saying? When I see a lot of people write in their bios, life coach, life's just too grand, man. It's just too many avenues to say you're a coach at something. And to me, that's a profession. You know, I don't understand when they use a life coach. We are, like I said before, we are all life coaches. People come to me and they're like, "Hey, man, can you show me how to train? Can you show me?" I've had business owners, supplement business owners, say, "Hey, man, can you help me with my company?" Does that make me a life coach? Because it's part of life.
Well, by this definition, on matters having to do with careers or personal challenges, yes. But then, I mean, this is a total sidebar, but then what's the difference between a life coach and a business coach? Other than the business coach probably just dealing with business, nothing to do personal. But it's there's crossover between the two.
Man, I love to hear the comments on this. I hope everybody's listening and really gives us their opinion on this, you know, in the comments once they listen to this, because I'm confused. I see people telling me that they're a life coach, and I'm like, how are you a life coach? And again, I don't want to hate on people, so I just want to bring out what I see. Lost 25 pounds, lost 30 pounds, female. Or usually if it's the females, I hate to say this, usually it's the females that turn around and lose the 25, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 pounds, and all of a sudden now become a life coach. Why do they have to use that word life coach and not just say, I'm here to help, or consultant? Because consultant is you can be a consultant, but when you say life coach, to me, is there a certification? Like, can I go to school to be a life coach?
See, that's just it. I mean, I'm sure there are organizations or some type of association that can certify. There has to be some type of program in place that certifies people to be a life coach. I don't believe that you and I can all of a sudden legally call ourselves life coaches and start our own business. I mean, not only that, but I don't know how insurance companies would cover you. I mean, if you don't have the certification, that would be like me calling myself a doctor and then going to get insurance, and the insurance company going, but you're not a doctor, so what are you trying to do here?
Okay. So obviously I was multitasking. Become healthcoachinstitute.com. I just Googled, is there a certification to be a life coach?
But what was the name of it?
Healthcoachinstitute.com. Becoming health and life coach in 8 months. Now, hold on. Here's the thing. Health coaching in the U.S. is a $6 billion industry. $6 billion industry. It is forecast to grow almost $8 billion in 2022 with over 120,000 practicing health coaches. See, in other words, a trainer.
Right. I mean, here's the thing. I mean,
Become
I think
life coach.
We need to have a definitive line in the sand of what an actual life coach does. You can't crisscross into multiple industries and say, well, a health coach is also a life coach, because I don't see them as being the same thing. I mean, obviously, life coaches, ZipRecruiter is saying that the average salary of a life coach is $75,000, which isn't bad in the grand scheme of things.
But I got two. Let's say I have 2 kids, right? The one kid is just off the wall. There's no way I can take care of this kid. He's just reckless, gets arrested. The other one's going to school. I need a life coach. Are they the ones I call?
See, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't call somebody who's in the fitness and health to be a life coach. Here's something that I want to touch on that you talked about a few minutes ago, and that is someone who is their 50s or 60s or 70s, 80s, 100, whatever. They have more real life experience than the people that are going into the industry. My issue with the whole life coach thing is a 21-year-old kid becoming a life coach and trying to coach a 40 or 50-year-old who says, you know what, I didn't take life seriously. I need to grab it by the balls, and I need to figure my stuff out so that I can make the next 50 years of my life that much better. Why would that individual hire a 21-year-old where in the grand scheme of things, he probably she only lived for probably 3 years of a professional career from 18 to 21 or in the 20s, whatever, age that they start. My problem is, how can you give real life experience if you haven't lived it?
Well, here's where I'm going to put my 2 cents in there. Okay. That 21-year-old might have been through cancer treatments. Okay. That 70-year-old might walk through that hospital and might connect with that 21-year-old. That 21-year-old might tell that older man his experience with the chemos, with the hospitals, whatever. See, I don't understand the word life coach. Life experiences, sharing your life experiences is what I see is happening day to day. You and I talk back and forth about our experiences. You coach me, right? I coach you. You're not calling me a life coach. I'm not calling you a life coach, right? So we're sharing our experiences. Hey, Jimbo, don't do that. Matt, let's do this. No, let's not do this. See, because you've done it before, or I've done it before, or anybody else. When someone tags themselves as a life coach, I consider them a professional, right? When I go to a doctor and he is calling himself a doctor, there's a level of education, there's a level of experience. Again, doctors practice, right? So they keep practicing. So if there's a doctor that's been 40 practiced for 40 years than someone who's been practicing for 60 years. There's a difference there, right? So when someone considers themselves as a life coach, what are you coaching on? And what type of responsibility are you taking on by calling yourself or tagging yourself as a life coach? This is where I don't understand. Like I said, I love to hear the comments, and I love everybody to give us their feedback, because I think we should do another show on this once we get the feedback and their opinions and their suggestions on stuff, because there's a fine line. Everybody thinks it's a fine line, but I don't think there's a fine line. You're misrepresenting yourself. You're telling yourself you're a cop, but you're not a cop just because you carry a gun. See what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, it doesn't make any sense. When I see people consider themselves or tagging themselves, you can consider yourself anything the frick you want.
Right.
Okay. But when you tag yourself as a life coach, that is a liability. That is a huge responsibility that you're taking on, and you should be insured.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So a personal trainer could be a health coach, and then sometimes it can't even be a health coach because you're not a doctor.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? These tags and these titles have gone way out of control. People ask me if I'm a business consultant. Fuck no, I'm not. I will tell you what I've experienced, the do's, the don'ts, but then again, my don'ts might be your do's.
Right.
So what am I doing? I'm telling, or I'm sharing my business experience. I'm not a business coach. I see people doing podcasts. I see people doing YouTube things on how to run their business. Who the hell are you telling anybody else how to run their business and calling themselves a business coach, a business consultant?
Right.
I don't get it.
Yeah, it goes under the whole, like, why would you take advice from somebody regarding business who's never owned a business before? Like, it's the same realm. Like, if you haven't lived in their shoes, and let's go back to, we'll use the cancer example that you gave. In that scenario, I don't know if you can call yourself a life coach, but I see value in what that individual would be doing for that 70 or 90 or whatever
Absolutely.
year old that you used as the example. I see a huge upside to doing that because they're relatable. But if somebody is suffering from depression and they go get a life coach who, quite frankly, isn't qualified to even speak on depression, they are a major liability. I mean, depression is rampant these days, and things escalate quickly. 0 to 100. You have people who are taking their lives every single day, and that's not, something to joke about. We need to take that extremely serious. So if you're going to put yourself in the situation where you're going to call yourself a life coach and you want to help all these people and stuff, you better be well versed and better have a background and some type of certification with insurance
Right.
to be doing this.
Right.
I still, is there a place, and again, it kind of goes back to what we talked about last week with influencers. Is it a business? It is. Can you knock somebody for making it a business and monetizing it? No. It probably falls under the same umbrella here. Are there morals and ethics that are in play here that people will probably side one way or the other? Absolutely. Like, my biggest thing is, if I wanted to get a life coach, I'm going to go sit down with somebody who's had life experience. Now, my grandmother is in a nursing home or assisted living home. If you call it a nursing home, she'll flip out and think that we put her
Right.
somewhere.
Right. And that's why they changed that title from nursing home to assisted living.
Absolutely. But and I encourage anyone who wants to change their perspective of life to go spend one day, even if it's just a few hours, at an assisted living home. If you want to figure out what regret looks like, go there.
Right.
Because you will find one person after the next who regrets something in their life who would make an amazing life coach because they've had those experiences and they say, I wish I would have done things this way. I wish I would have acted upon that. I wish I would have, implemented or executed on this idea that I had. But I know I'm too old now. I'm too frail. I can't do this. And all they do is live with regret. And I think being a life coach, your job should be to give people the tools necessary to make the decisions in their life that they've kind of been sitting on.
Keep in mind, there's a money exchange.
Yes.
So when I'm titled as a life coach and I got there's money exchange, that's illegal. I would consider that illegal.
Explain.
Life coach is a huge responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just like you are a health coach, just like you are a personal trainer. Okay. Let me go back to, let me downsize this, or let me put this down as a personal trainer. Personal trainers can go online and get a certification. 24 hours. They're still certified. We like it or not. Okay. They're still certified. They can go out and make a living.
Right.
If they have the experience or they don't have experience, that's up to the consumer or the client to figure that out, right? But they are able to go out and make a living. Move up. Health coach. Bigger responsibility. Life coach. There's a money exchange. Health coach is a money exchange. Now I'm going back up to where I was. Life coach. There's a money exchange. When there's a money exchange, there's a liability.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I have a problem. So what are you going to tell me about life? Like, what are you coaching me on life? I'm paying you $5,000, fix my life. Is there a protocol?
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Getting back to like these certifications, like what do they cover? Is it like a 6-step program that, the first time you meet with somebody, this is what you're doing. The second time you're doing this, exactly, how do you lay out your guidelines?
I think life coaches, the title of life coach actually funnels down to health and fitness. Because if you see who titles themselves as a life coach, it's all around the health and fitness realm. And that's where they're trying to make it valuable, instead of saying I'm a personal trainer, I'm a health and fitness coach, I'm a life coach. Because now, if we all know that it's been out there, it happens when we take care of ourselves and we exercise and we eat healthy, we feel good about ourselves. Life is good, right? So when we say, when we feel good, life is good. We can handle anything, right? So I think they convert that. I got my killer dog in there. I think when we convert that, it becomes a experience that someone's paying for, and a liability.
Right.
So I got a problem with that.
It's interesting because when I train clients in person, you kind of feel like a life coach, because these people will pour out their hearts to you about their terrible day, how their family life sucks. Exactly. And that ties into what I'm getting at. Like, what is the responsibility of a life coach? Because if you're listening to somebody's problems, that's a therapist. So
no, that's not a therapist.
What do you
You're
mean?
A sounding board.
Yes, but technically, if you're a therapist, they're going to be like, well, who the hell is this life coach who's taking my clients? What do they have, or what can they provide my clients that I can't, when I am more than qualified to help these individuals? So should life coaches have to go through the same process as a therapist?
Right. That's what I'm. See, that's where I go to the extreme with life coach. When you're a life coach, you need to have a certification or some kind of diploma on finance, right? Finance, health, with a psychology,
Right.
right? What else are we missing here?
Well, I mean, I think those are three
Right,
definites.
The three, right?
Yeah.
Then you can consider yourself a life coach. Then you get a certification. If you're good or not good, that's up to the clients, to make that judgment. But you can go out there and get paid to be a life coach.
Right. Man, I hope somebody that's listening
Oh no, they're
either is or knows of
Yeah.
someone that they can tag.
And if you're out there and you consider yourself not if you consider yourself a life coach, if you title yourself as a life coach, we like to hear from you. And we're not here to bash you. We're trying to understand where are you coming from, and if you can clarify how you feel as a life coach, please comment. And we'll bring you on the show. We will bring you on the show, and we're not going to attack you. I'm interested. I love to hear how someone considers themselves a life coach, and I bet you anything, Matt, it's all going to boil down to personal training.
I think it is, because it's like you said, if you go on Instagram and you see in their little bio, it'll say life coach.
Right.
It's almost like that badge of honor, and I'm not trying to bash people. I just find it funny, the people who put down vegan in their bio. Like, what? Who cares? Like, what does that even mean? Like, am I putting carnivore down in my bio? It's almost like a badge of honor these days to have these things. But I think you're right that a life coach probably boils down more to the actual health and fitness side of things versus the mental, emotional side of what a life coach, in my eyes, should be, which again would lead back to being a therapist.
Oh, it's a huge responsibility.
But I mean, I don't think I have any more questions or value to add here. But I mean, I think it's like you said. I hope somebody that's listening or watching, if you're watching on YouTube, has experience in this or knows somebody who does, that you can get us in touch
Or has
with.
hired a quote life coach.
That would be even better.
That's even better. So if you guys are listening, I know we're going to end it because I know we're just going to be running around in circles on this whole thing, and I don't want to do that to the viewers or the listeners. So if you have experience, or if you have hired a individual that has titled themselves as a life coach, we would love to hear from you, please, because this is a great topic. I love this.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people are curious about this, because over the last, I'd say, couple of years is when it's really turned on full force, and you see people coming out of the woodwork, calling themselves, deeming themselves as a life coach. So we'll end it there.
Yeah.
We appreciate everybody's support and listening, and those who went over to Facebook, and whether we invited you or you found it on your own. We have a Facebook group. It's Fit Business. I think the actual URL is Fit Business Official, because somebody took Fit Business. How dare they? But we would love for you guys to join. It's a community where we're all just actively trying to better each other.
We got some great heavy hitters in there, man.
Dude, we have everything. We have, trainers. We have business owners.
Yeah.
We have nutritionists, attorneys. I mean, everyone.
True business consultants in there.
Right. So, by all means, please go head over to Facebook, join our group, Fit Business. If you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe. It's free to subscribe. We're trying to bring you guys a ton of value, even though it's technically our opinion and our experiences. We would love to have you be part of our community. But with that being said, Jimmy, is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I just want to let everybody know we got some really cool guests lined up. And I think they're going to be very pleased on who we're bringing on board, so they can also help us and explore this whole fit business journey that we're on.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate you guys. We hope to see you guys on the next show.